sure if we were going to even be able to get in today. We woke up this morning, started getting dressed and everything. I'm sorry. And saw the thing about an escape from Cummins and all that. And the lady that we just talked to was on the news. I was like, oh, great. Figured there was going to be a lockdown or something and we wouldn't be able to get in. So that worked out well. So how you been? Before we start anything, we're just going to shoot the breeze since nobody's met anybody here before until now, just for a couple minutes. So, been doing all right?
Yeah, pretty good.
We went and visited with Damien yesterday. I did the interview part with him yesterday. And also, the day before, just went by for a visit. The lady at the desk, while I'm thinking of this, was asking us if we wanted to come back tomorrow, just for a personal visit or whatever. We've extended our visit and so forth, so if we tell her on the way out that we can come back tomorrow, you can do that. I mean, you're up for another visit, nobody else has already claimed it, whatever.
If he's not sick of us by the time.
Yeah, it might be. Damien was really supposed to get
I know, I
the
think
hell
he
out
was like,
yesterday, that's for sure. He says hello, by the way. Berg's pretty much written, most of the questions, and this isn't going to be like some big, like the standard newspaper, television thing, where we're just going to grill you with questions. It's just going to be mostly shooting the breeze. First of all, you know pretty much what the whole purpose here is, right? It's not something that's going to go in the newspaper, television, anything like that necessarily, as much as it is going to just be used for the basis of the support fund for the 1-minute interview thing we were talking about, so we can start getting some flyers and information and things like that printed up. It's just pretty much like we did with Eccles.
We want to make sure that you approve of everything. We want to send you copies before anything, because our first primary interest is telling the truth and telling it correctly. Because so many times you can, you don't have to worry about saying anything that we're going to twist around or anything like that. So many times you can clip something out of the middle, and it ruins everything.
Also, something I wanted to mention to you. Well, first of all, let me ask you a question, because we were all talking about this last night. Is this the first time you've ever talked to anybody, ever interviewed, since your conviction, since the
HBO?
That was the last time you talked to anybody on camera, on film, or anything like that? Is there anything, before we start, is there anything that you can't talk about or you're uncomfortable talking about from a legal aspect? Or if we ask questions about all four? Well, that's pretty much how it was with Damien. Worked out, pretty much, it was just like casual conversation with him about stuff like that. So just, again, just feel comfortable with that. I can see you feeling a little bit weird because, again, not having met any of us.
Total strangers.
If I'm talking on the phone now, I feel, pretty comfortable talking to you and everything here, but we're all kind of wondering, well, what's it going to be like? What we might do, the main thing, and a little bit, I can tell from letters and conversation with you about what's going on with the internet and that kind of stuff, and that's become a major tool. And I'm not even qualified to comment on it because I'm not online, but all these guys are.
But he probably will anyway.
Yeah, now I will. I have a reason to be now. But James Sparks, and I'm sure you're aware of this, also is pretty much, he's on the East Coast. These guys are on the West Coast, and there's just been so much feed.
Have you heard from James Sparks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So you know who he is.
It's pretty much been snowballing since this movie. Anyway, it snowballed into just a major big, media event, and there's a lot more interest on the internet, I think, than there was attendance at the theaters or viewers on HBO or whatever. And it's really just everybody and their brothers crawling out of the woodwork now and coming forward and everything. And that's, I guess, the main thing we wanted to talk to you about is whereas 3 years ago, everybody, especially everybody in Arkansas, I guess, figured, oh yeah, those bastards killed those little boys and all that. And now everybody seems to think, oh, there's no way in hell they did it. And, so we're
Yeah,
just
it's pretty
mostly,
different out there.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about the film? Have you
seen
have
it?
you heard of it, or
Yeah, I've seen it.
You got to see it?
what did you think
What
of
did
it?
you think?
It was weird watching it.
Yeah. In what way? Like,
It was weird. I thought, dang, that was me up there, and
Mm-hmm.
everything that already happened, everything lived through it all, and then I watched it again. It was weird.
did you feel like you wished you had said something, or
Yeah.
really?
Or wish that you had said certain things, or because you could tell in the movie there were parts where they ask you a question and it would have been tough for anybody to answer it. I was just wondering if you had to do over again,
Well, here's your chance.
Tell us now.
Basically, to start things off, kind of just tell us this is kind of what we did with Damien. Just tell us basically from the beginning, as early as you remember, how you got involved in this, how you became a suspect, what made them bring Skelly in, if you know anything about the Hollingsworth plan, just kind of things that weren't in the movie, things that weren't really touched on in the book, just kind of go,
Look at that, right there. Is that right?
So we don't misquote you.
Alright.
And it's gonna pick you up, you don't have to
Absolutely.
direct your voice out, it's gonna pick you up.
I remember I first heard about it on Thursday after it happened, coming on the news, and my mom was telling me about it and stuff, you know, telling me to watch my little brother. So I got a little brother, Terry, told me to watch him, because she said the killer was still on loose, so I had to stay home and babysit him. And then Friday, police came, knocked on my door, and asked to talk to Damien and me. Damien was over there while I was babysitting. We was playing Super Nintendo stuff. They asked where we was at Wednesday, because that's what happened. So I told them, all day. I just went to school that day, come back, was at home playing Super Nintendo with Damien, and his girlfriend was over there. And one of our friends, Ken, wife, he was over there. And my uncle called over there and asked me if I was going to cut his yard, because I was supposed to cut his yard. It was Saturday previously. But I had to go to a party or something. So I said, yeah, I'm going to cut it. I forgot about it. He said, I'll be over there in a little bit. I said, just wait, I'll be over there. He said, all right. So I'm on the phone and I said, hey man, I got to go cut my uncle's yard. Y'all can leave or come with me or whatever. He said, well, you got nothing to do. We'll come over there. I said, all right, cool.
And how far away did he live, your uncle, from your place?
I don't know exactly how
Just a
far.
little bit, a little ways, walking
Yeah,
distance?
walking.
It took about 25 minutes.
Yeah, okay, so no break distance.
Went over there cutting yard, and was cutting the backyard, and Damien said he had to call his mom and tell her to come pick him up over at my uncle's house instead of my house. His mom would pick him up sometime. And I went to cutting yard. I said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow, I guess, or sometime. He left, and Ken was still over there at my uncle's. Finished cutting the yard, my uncle gave me $10. Me and Ken went to Walmart, played a couple of video games, bought some sodas and stuff. Then we went to my house for a while. He left, Ken did, and then I left the house with my brothers and my mom's boyfriend at the time was over there. And then later on, I said about 9:30, it was dark anyway. I went to another friend of mine's house, Adam Phillips. Went to his house. I bought a cassette for him and his mom, his dad, his sister's boyfriend. They was all over there. And it was like trying to talk me out of this necklace I had. I was like, nah.
What was it?
It was a dragon on a crystal ball. This girl giving it to me from Memphis. I was like, nah, I won't give it to her. They said, no, I'm gonna give you $10 for it. And I left there and went home. Ate some nasty tuna casserole for dinner. And then went to bed. My mom came home and turned off my radio because it was playing. I was like, I'm not asleep yet. So it's too loud. And I was like, that was it. Next day I got up in school. Everything.
When did the actual, like, when were you called in, like, for questioning for the first time? When did you really find out for the first time that, hey, the cops actually think I did this, or they think, Damien and I did this?
Well, they never called me out with a question. They just came to my house that Friday, asked me where I was at Wednesday, asked Damien. And Mom came up and told him to leave the house and all this. She went off on him.
What investigator? Was this like Brian Ridge, or was this, or do you remember, was it Gitchell? Or,
Durham. Some Durham guy or something.
okay.
Durham and some other guy. I don't know who he was.
Had you guys been suspected of things previously, things that had happened in town, any kind of crimes, or?
Yeah, it's
I mean, did they automatically go straight for you guys?
FBI guy always came to our house like accusing us of stealing guns from Walmart and all kinds of stuff. I was like, steal guns from Walmart? How can you do that? I ain't even got a gun. The only thing I had was a BB gun.
Did you steal it from Walmart?
My mom bought it from.
Damien told us about a laser taken from a train that
Yeah, they
weighed
tried
more
to
than.
say they had stole an army laser from a train or something. No, we got no lasers.
That it would be really hard to pull that off for anybody, much less two guys that weighed under 100 pounds or whatever.
He also told us about being questioned about another murder that happened somewhere, like
Yeah.
a little girl or something.
There's one police on it. The guy who did it, he's in here.
That's
Yeah, I met him in here. They asked us about it, and it's like on the other side of the state or something.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at really.
And that was when you were about what? You'd have been about 12.
I think so.
Did you get questioned about that too?
Yeah. They was always asking us about something.
You know, here's a thing. You know, we've been talking to Damien. We're pretty familiar with him, and it is kind of understandable where people might look at him and think, you know, he's unusual or whatever. But do you think he ever sort of brought it on, like said, you know, was like kind of encouraging a strange appearance or a?
I don't know, probably, yeah. He was encouraging them for the way he acted and dressed.
Why do you think they singled you out? Just because you knew him?
Yeah.
That's the way it came off.
Like, he was always over at my house, I was always over at his house. We'd go to the mall together and go skating ring together and stuff like that. Go talk to girls together and stuff.
Did you have people that came forward and testified on your behalf, family, friends, people who could pretty much place you at wherever you were when the actual parties occurred?
But Paul Ford said I wanted, my mom and all them wanted to get up and testify, and I wanted to get up and testify. He said, no, you ain't got to, because they didn't prove you was guilty. So he said, by law, they have to prove you guilty, you don't have to prove you're innocent. And all that. Then he goes on, look at Damien's family, they got up and said where he was at that day, and no matter what you do, they're going to try to say their line anyway.
Was it hard for you to sit there, keeping your mouth shut when you felt like, you know, you should be up there protesting and,
Yeah.
and telling them, you know, that, you know, it was wrong? It was the same thing, I guess we'll ask Jesse the same thing. Just we all agree that it would be really hard to sit there listening to all the stuff being said about what we allegedly did, with no physical evidence and so forth, and not say anything. That'd be pretty frustrating. What do you have any idea, do you have a theory about who committed the offense?
No, I don't really want to do to somebody else what was done to me, like put that on them, because you know I could be wrong.
Sure.
Like they was wrong, so I don't know. But really, what I heard from what private investigators and stuff, and what I heard at court, that black guy at Bojangles, or Mark Byers, kid when Mark Byers, his stepfather, they could have. They had more on them than what they did on us. That's true.
Did you?
And plus, too, that forensic pathologist lady, she said that she found a negroid hair on one of the kids. She said that during the trial.
So that would support the Bojangles guy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why we're asking about this, because I think anybody who saw that movie, if they didn't suspect Byers before, of course, you know, nobody knew who he was until they got on the stand. You know, people that weren't familiar with the case anyway, and it just became so evident that, yeah, you know, this guy's psychopathic enough to have done what he probably did to her. Bojangles guy, it's just hard to really determine if you played into it or not. You know, that was just some poor guy that just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Losing the blood evidence and all that kind of stuff was just a little.
That ridge, he goes, well, I guess I lost it.
That's my fault. I misplaced
I lost
the
the evidence.
Yeah.
That's such a big thing. I mean, if that had happened in another.
Got O.J. Simpson on.
Yeah.
They didn't even use it.
Yeah. Well, we want to just ask some of the regular old questions here.
So how long have you been here? You've been here for 3 years?
Well, I got locked up June 3rd, 93. That's 23 years ago. Came here May 20th, 94.
You think you've changed as a person?
Yeah.
How have you changed?
I don't know. Some ways, I just growed up. Cause I'm around older people and stuff, and I'm around people in there. You have to be a certain way, or like take advantage of you and stuff.
Yeah. So you think you
But
toughened
when
up?
I'm around my family and stuff, I'm the same nice person and stuff.
Right.
But when I'm in here, you have to be a little bit tougher than that.
So you have to like put a shell, almost like armor around yourself, not let anybody mess with you.
Sort of, yeah.
Is it almost
No,
like you're?
I'm a little guy in here. There's like guys in there that work out and stuff. And then a few fights. They put people in blocks and stuff. What they call put people in blocks and stuff. They come off all their commissary. make them become homosexuals and stuff like that.
What's the box again?
Like they put you in a box and like watch over you,
Um,
and they make you come off like get money. You got to give them all your money and stuff. They'll watch over you, or the collar starts watching over you. I watch this stuff all the time, and this is worse on them when they do that. They might as well just go ahead and fight and get it on out.
Yeah. It's kind of the impression you get, and again, just from seeing, you know, movies and documentaries, and, you know, talking to a few Department of Corrections workers and so forth. It seems to be pretty prevalent in the prison systems, I guess, in America. You had never been in jail or anything at all prior to your conviction?
Yeah. Went to jail one time for stealing some potato chips and them in the Walgreens. They didn't
Oh
put
my
me in
God.
jail. But, I just rolled in the front seat with the police guy, and he took me to McDonald's and ate hamburgers and stuff. He was joking around and stuff. He said I wouldn't bring you in if I didn't have to. He brought me to the police station, called my mom, come get me.
Do you think in the ways that you've changed as a person in here, do you think that, I mean, I know your situation isn't better, but do you think that you're a better person now? Do you think you're stronger now?
Yeah.
We're going to say when you get out, but when you get out, do you think you'll be able to function really well in society when you're out there?
Yeah.
Do you think
It'd
that
be-
this experience
It'd
helped?
be kind of hard at first to get used to it and all. When I get started, yeah, alright.
What do you think you'll do?
Yeah, I'm thinking about starting up some kind of business or something, you know, just like music store or something. Just something laid back.
Do you think you'll stay here? Or do you?
I'm going.
Where'd you go?
I don't know.
You thought about it?
Yeah, I've thought about
Stay
it.
in the country or?
I don't know. Depends on how everything is when I get out and how people are reaction are to me.
Right. Do you think you'll get out? Do you feel?
Yeah.
You feel confident?
Yeah, the question is when.
Yeah.
Do you think you
I've
would've-
seen people, I've heard people like, they got put in prison for stuff they didn't do, and it like took 15 years for them to get out.
they didn't have a movie about it.
Right. Do you feel kind of lucky about the film coming out? 'Cause the fact that people are paying
Yeah.
attention to the case? Because I bet there's a lot of innocent people, you know, I mean, I know there's a lot of guilty people, but there's probably a lot of innocent people that never had a movie made. And
Yeah.
nobody's going to come talk to them.
They're just kind of stuck.
Do you know if there's any, do you feel like there's any people that you know that are,
I know people in here like, in here for stuff they didn't do, but they'd done so much other stuff. you
Right.
know? And then, you know, they didn't get caught for it, but they was just like in here for something, you know, that really didn't matter. You know, they was only in here for a little bit, you know, they didn't do it. So they just went ahead and pled guilty to it and got it over with, got out.
why do you think, when you got convicted, when you watch the film, you get the impression that whole town just hate, there was just so much hate. And the day before the trial even started, it seemed like people were ready to hang you guys. Why do you think they got so fired up?
I don't know, that's the way people are. Seen them in here, like, when they get tension built up in themselves and they want to lash out at other people for something wrong, you know, bloodthirsty or something.
Well, that was an unbelievably horrible crime, no matter where it was committed. Surely that must have been the most ghastly thing that ever happened in West Memphis. And the fact that it was kids.
Yeah, I
the fact
felt
that
the
little
same
boys
way
and-
when I heard about it. When I was thinking about my little brother. Me and my brothers are like that.
Do you blame the media for making you guys look much worse than you normally would have had they not, you know, fed on what Gitchell
Yeah.
told them from the start?
But plus, kind of blame myself and my lawyers too, because they told me not to say nothing to them. And I didn't say nothing to them, so they only had one source to feed off of, and that was the prosecutor.
Is he?
Oh, do you blame anybody specifically for what happened? Do you blame anyone
All of
personally
this?
for all of it, or like you blame your lawyer? What did you
No.
see?
I don't blame just one person.
Can you, I'm sure you've thought about this every night as you lay your head down on the pillow for the last 3 years, but have you come up with a reason or a theory why Miskelly would have ever, you know, said something, you know, that just absolutely...
I've asked him, I've tried to figure it out. I can see how when when they had him here, how they could have put words in his mouth and made him say stuff. But what I can't figure out is how he got there in the first place.
That's what we're trying to
Yeah, we know.
figure out.
What does he say? Does he have an
When I
answer?
ask him, he won't tell me. He won't tell me nothing. I say, why'd you go up there? He goes, I don't know. They brought me up there. I go, why'd they bring you up there? He goes, I don't know. And I go, how did my name and name even get mentioned? All this. I don't know.
Because you guys weren't friends, or were you friends before?
I was friends with him in elementary school and part of junior high. And then after that, I just knew him, you know.
Right. But you didn't hang out with him.
Uh-uh.
How much of a part do you think that Vicki Hutchison or reward money, or if at all? do you
Really,
think
I
that
didn't
played
know
into it?
nothing about that lady.
Do you know anything about her now? I mean,
No, not really.
Does he
I
say
seen her on the Maury Povich. That's the first time I even seen a picture of her on Maury Povich, seen what she looked like.
Does Jesse say anything about it?
Mm-mm.
It's just weird that she would have been such a key figure and then never have actually surfaced any time after the case. You know?
Yeah. I try not to talk to Jesse about the case though, because when I get talking to him about it, it makes me mad. So I just don't talk about it to him.
It's gotta be frustrating.
What makes you mad about talking to him?
To think that all this has happened partly because of what he said and he was weak-minded and all that. Then I think maybe he didn't really have no control over it. It was just frustrating, so I just leave it alone. It's best not to get in trouble.
Were you present when they put John Mark Byers on the stand and asked him about the knife and all that stuff?
Yeah.
What were you thinking whenever it became very apparent? It was very awkward for him to try and recall and get his story straight and things like that.
I was thinking he was lying.
So you thought at that became apparent to you that,
Yeah.
that at this point maybe he was the one who did it.
Yeah.
I don't think you're singling anybody out because everybody, I believe, kind of thinks that he's the one who did it. Who knows? I guess hopefully we'll find out.
Do you think there's any truth to the satanic cult rumors? Do you think there is such thing?
Sure there are somewhere, but I didn't know anybody in West Memphis from married here.
You never saw any evidence? Of
No.
this, nothing.
I saw like teenager
Graffiti, spray paint, that kind of stuff. Well, that's the impression we got, and it was hard for people to realize that, or to understand, I should say, that the whole town was so terrified of Satan or the devil or whatever. I mean, it's obviously a big Bible Belt community. There's churches all over the place and all that, but
Yeah.
it just seems like there would have had to have been some kind of satanic, some kind of confirmed account of something before they would actually just think, oh yeah, these three kids, they had on black
I know
t-shirts.
the juvenile probation officer was always hounding me and Damien and stuff. Like every time he'd see us, he'd say something smart to us and stuff.
What kind of stuff would he say?
So like, y'all out on a witching or something like that.
Why would some people think you were in a cult?
I don't know. I've listened to rock and roll ever since I was born. 'Cause that's what my mom listened to. We got a station in Memphis called Rock 103, and all growing up, that's what was played on the radio around my house. That's what my mom listened to. So that's what I grew up listening to.
Well, most people listen.
Yeah.
to.
I don't think
I
that's
listened to
too much.
Metallica and stuff, you know. And then I got I wore a lot of concert shirts, Metallica, Iron Maiden stuff, combat boots, a leather jacket, black leather jacket, a trench coat and all that. Damien had one.
But we all basically about
Most
the
of
only
the-
two in the town.
Yeah,
That's
most
like
of the
that?
people around there, they was either country or rap.
Mhm.
They either dressed real preppy or gangster life.
Why do you think people interpret? I guess it's pretty traditional. Back even when the Beatles, people were thinking that was the devil's music. Why do you think rock and roll has such a connection to evil and crime and murder and satanic stuff?
I don't know.
What do you think it is with the element of the music? You think it's like this sort of adrenaline pumping, angry sounding thing that people don't understand the motivation?
Some of it, it gives you, it just makes you all hyped up. And some of it mellows you out though.
Do you think that maybe an Ozzy Osbourne album cover is sort of like Damien was? It's almost like flaunting, or whether it's legitimate Satanism
Basically-
or trappings or whatever.
Basically, that's just fantasy world. That's just
Sure.
entertainment, really. It ain't supposed to be life. No,
Were you ever involved at all? Any of this Wiccan activity or
I
theory?
remember Damien had a friend, Murray, John Murray. They was Wiccans. I remember I went over to his house one time. He was talking about, yeah, if you want to join, just keep this little notebook and write down your dreams in the morning when you wake up. Nah, man, that sounds stupid. I don't want to do none of that. And he was always playing that music like called Snow, whatever it was, that Jamaican weird. I was like, I don't even like that dude.
Trying to get her to talk.
I'm talking. Do you keep in touch with any family or friends that come see you?
Yeah, my mom and my two brothers, Matt and Terry, they come every time they get a chance. But like, she like had a real bad time this past few years. She been going from job to job. She had nervous breakdown and stuff. They lost their home and stuff. They've been moving around a lot. And Matt, he just developed a bad attitude out of all this. He was 14 when I got locked up, and he just dropped out of school and stuff. And it's like he hates all police now and stuff.
Do you think that a lot of Matt's bitterness stems from the fact that you and Damien used to call him Matt the Rat?
No.
Tell us about the forehead girl.
Yeah, tell us the truth.
Yeah,
We heard Damien's side.
says not to let you sidestep it. He said to hold your feet to the fire on this one.
No.
We've
We was at
heard his
Walmart
story.
one
We want
time
to hear your side of it.
buying some tapes. You know, we always check out the girls, you know, like you think she's good looking and stuff. And he saw this one girl from behind. She had a nice butt. And he was like, man, what do you think about her? I was like, I don't know. Let's follow her for a little bit and then go talk to her. And then when we got close enough to talk to her, she turned around. She had like a forehead taller than mine. I was like, oh, wrong girl. Go over here.
So it was Damien that was interested in her at first.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, it was me.
Was it?
He said it was you.
He said you're always flopping that story around.
So you never dated her?
Oh, no.
That was the end of the forehead girl.
She's
I was
not
gonna
in
go
here
up and
with
talk
me.
to her. We just turned around. We was like, we're going over here.
I think Damien said her forehead was big enough to show a movie on.
That's so bad.
So how old is Matt now?
He's 17.
Yeah, he's close to you. And how old are you?
19.
You're 19, so he was.
Yeah, and he's bigger than I am.
What does he do?
Nothing.
Is he out of school and all that?
Out of school, nothing. I talk to him all the time, try to get him, tell him to go get his GED, get a good job and stuff. He's like, yeah, I will. Whatever.
You think he will?
Not until I get out. I don't think nothing good gonna come until I get out.
What about your mom?
My mom, she's trying and stuff, but she gets like really depressed when she sits down and thinks about things.
And you talk to her pretty regularly though, right?
Yeah.
How much negativity do you think, like Matt and your mom, deal with or experience daily or weekly because of people's belief that our son and his brother, killed
Yeah.
3 little boys and all that? Do you think that most people that know you, your family, friends, and so forth, don't put any stock in that story? Or
All of our family pleases my mom, sister, my aunt, her family, her side part of the family, like helps my mom out and stuff. And she writes me sometimes, sends me a little money every now and then.
so they're pretty supportive.
Yeah.
And they believe in your experience.
They all believe in it, But it's just other people everywhere they go, they hear somebody talking about it, and they like, my mom, she's real aggressive on the turn. She'll jump up and say, hey, not my son.
That's good.
And my brother, he's the same way.
So they defend you
Yeah.
no matter what.
We're
That's
sort
great.
of the
My
kind
mom
of
told me
same.
she was working at a casino in Mississippi, changing money for tokens or whatever it is they do. And she said that Gary Gitchell detective came in there one time, and she jumped all over him, about lost her job for it.
What did she say? Did she
Oh,
tell you
I
what
just-
happened?
Yeah, she told me. He was like, she was like telling him that he knows that I'm innocent and all that stuff. And Gary Gitchell was like, it doesn't matter, he's in there now and all this.
So do you think there's a lot of people that, because this is something else I've kind of heard indications of is whether or not you guys did it or not. Some people say you get what you pay for, you know, and a lot of people think that, well, Damien shouldn't have acted that way, or shouldn't have sneered at the jury, and you know, you should have spoken up, and you shouldn't have just sat there. You know, you hear so many people saying that. Almost
Well, it didn't really matter how you acted in there, because they was going to say something about it anyway.
But as far as a lot of people thinking, well, they're where they are because of the way they acted, whether they did it or not.
I mean, Damien, he was all defiant, like, in court. Me, I was sitting there. Jesse, he was all, I don't know what he was doing.
You think he was embarrassed by the whole thing? Like,
I don't know, he told me his lawyer told him to do that. Like, dang, what kind of strategy is that?
It didn't work.
Why do you think that they wouldn't allow, or the judge wouldn't allow anything to be said about Michael Carson's background? And how damaging do you think his testimony is? Because it was so bizarre and unbelievable.
I don't know. But
Here.
I tried to, everybody that was in jail with me at the time that he was in there, they wanted to testify for me. They're like, we'll tell him that he was lying and stuff. But the lawyer never jumped on it.
Did you ever talk to him when you were in there?
No, he was, see, when you first get in that jail, you're in a 48-hour lockdown. And I don't even think he never even got out of lockdown.
So you never had any contact with him?
He did. I know they got cameras up there, and I wish I knew if they recorded the stuff and had it backlog tapes. I tried to tell my lawyer that, and he never jumped on that either. To go back and get a tape and play of those days he was in there and see.
Oh, that's interesting.
What do you think motivated that guy to get up there and do that?
I don't know.
Well, didn't he get some time off his sentence or whatever? Didn't it benefit him ultimately?
Got to be in a movie too.
Were you intimidated much by Bruce Sinofsky and by the HBO people when the movie was going on? Were you even aware that they were making a movie, or did you kind of forget about that during the courtroom? I mean, you were more concerned about
I was
your
aware
own
of
neck,
it.
I'm sure.
All them cameras and people and stuff, it like makes me uneasy.
Sure. Did you even have a clue that it would have eventually culminated, the end result would have been this big movie?
I didn't
3
really
years
think of
later?
it like that. I figured it would just be something like small time it'd come up like the news is, you know.
Were you able to watch the news reports while you were in jail at the time, so you weren't able to see what all the
They
media was
wouldn't
saying?
allow news come on at night.
We were told that Damien had mentioned that at one point they dressed you guys in police uniforms to bring you out, and that you were being pelted with rocks. You got hit in the head, I think.
Yeah.
Somebody throwing a rock. What happened? Where was that?
That was
What county?
right. That was at West Memphis jail, right?
Oh.
The day after we got arrested, the morning after. 'Cause they like took off our clothes, and they didn't have nothing to put us in. So they just gave us these big, giant, extra triple extra large police uniforms, man. But what was so bad about it? You ever seen the old Kung Fu movie? I think that's what it was, or something. I think that's what it was. Anyway, there was somebody in the cavalry, and when they got banded out for something bad, they always stood them up in their uniform and ripped off the United States flag. Well, that's what they did to me. When they put me in that police uniform, that's what hurt the worst. They put me in that giant police uniform that had the flag and stuff all on there. They said, wait a minute, and they just grabbed them and ripped them off and all that.
Oh. So you guys were just being led on, where else would happen? You got let out in the uniforms?
There's a million people out there and stuff.
Was it pretty scary?
Yeah.
You were cuffed, or if they were
Cuffed,
throwing rocks, you really couldn't
chained,
do much?
didn't have no shoes, socks, or nothing.
You just felt like the whole town was against you.
Yeah.
What about your folks and your friends? Were they there too? But
I didn't see him.
I think Damien mentioned to me once when you guys were taken out, maybe at the end after the sentencing and everything, that he saw he looked across the street or something and saw your little brother standing over there.
At the trial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? So he was there.
Yeah, my mom and him was always around telling me to hang on and stuff. Stay strong and don't give up and stuff.
Do you ever feel like you're going to give up? You ever get close to feeling that bad?
Sometimes, but then I think of my mom, my brothers, and what it would do to them. I'm like, nah.
So you're going to hang on?
Yeah.
So what is going on legally? Like, are you talking to your lawyer?
Really tell the truth. Me and my lawyer, I don't know what he does, if he does anything.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
Spoke to him last year, maybe.
Is it still Paul Ford? Is he still?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I guess there's really nothing to report on, really. I don't guess, because all that stuff takes a lot of time. I guess. I don't know. I don't know nothing about the stuff really.
So essentially, he has maybe told you just sit tight until the appeal.
Yeah, he said he's got it all. He'll take care of it.
Do you have much faith in him, considering what happened during the trial and what's gone on so far?
I know I did during the trial, because he would like come up there to the jailhouse and talk to me every day, and like bring me pizza and stuff, and talk to me, tell me everything was going good. Then after the trial, it seemed like he didn't have nothing to do with me no more.
Where are his officers? Is he in West Memphis or?
He's got an office in West Memphis and Jonesboro.
Oh, okay.
You know the name of the law firm?
No, he was with the Reeves Law Firm. I think I think he formed his own law firm, the Ford and Wadley firm.
Ford and Wadley?
Yeah, that's that other
Oh,
lawyer,
yeah,
Ford.
Wadley.
Robin Wadley.
What, how far did you get in school, educational level and so forth?
Well, the day they arrested me was my last day of school, 10th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
So you would have been starting 11th grade, your junior year then. Have you pursued any kind of education in here? You taken any kind of correspondence
The
courses?
only thing they had was GED here. I went and got it. There was having college classes, but by the time I got hooked up with the people that was going to get me in those, they had canceled it. Having.
Do you read a lot?
Yeah.
Do you educate
Sometimes.
yourself?
Yeah.
Your
I
brain-
try to read something on everything. Like right now, I'm reading some stuff about Einstein. It's called a book called The Einstein Factor.
Yeah.
How to raise your IQ and all that.
Huh.
What do you like to read? What's your favorite, you like horror?
Really, I don't have a
fiction?
favorite. I can read on fiction books. I can read from Louis L'Amour to Dean Koontz,
Yeah.
whatever.
Is it hard for you to, like at the end of the day, are you pretty much like everybody on the outside? At the end of your day, you're tired and you're just really not up to reading much, or, you know, you watch TV, or I know occasionally you write a letter every now and then.
Letters are not very good for me.
You ever get one from
there's-
me?
In the barracks, everybody's like running around, hollering and stuff, always asking you stuff and all this. It's real smoky in there and all this. This is not hard to concentrate.
That's where you'd have to do it. You'd have to sit there and write your letter.
Yeah. Plus too, I'm like sitting there, and we don't have a desk in it. Well, we have a desk, a table, and chairs, but they're always playing dominoes on it. And like sitting on my rack all hunched over makes my back hurt, back of my neck and stuff.
Your penmanship's good, considering you're having to write like that. Your letters are a lot easier to read than some of them I've got.
Hey,
So
better
not
than
from you,
mine.
but from
Better
other
than
people.
mine.
Yeah. So what's a regular day like for you? What is your job? What time do you get up? What time do you go to bed? All that stuff.
Right now I'm on whole squad.
What is
And
that?
why are you on host squad?
Disciplinary.
What happened?
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I guess I can talk about it. See, I've been working in the kitchen. Like when I first got here, when you first get here, you're class 2. They have 4 classes: class 1, class 2, class 3, and class 4. Class 4 is like the bottom. Class 1 is the top. You get your class 2. Your class 2 for 60 days. If you don't get in trouble with disciplinary, nothing like that. When I first got here, I stay on home squad for 60 days. Don't get in trouble. Got my class 1. I wanted a clerk's job. Something to do with typing on the computer and doing inventory, whatever, But Miss McWilliams, she was the assistant warden in, and Campbell, he was the head warden. Miss McWilliams told me that I'd have to get my GED to have a clerk's job and come back in 30 days. So I went and got my GED and came back 30 days. By then, I done got stuck in the kitchen, man. You can't get out of the kitchen.
And that's pretty bad? I mean, I would think being around food and
Well, it's good at
Inside,
first,
right?
but I ate everything I could at first, but then you're like working around all that food, you don't have an appetite for it. You wind up eating less than what you would usually do.
how is the food? Is it worth eating?
Sometimes it's alright, sometimes. They got this stuff called Jack Mac. Jack Mac patties and all that. It ain't no good.
Okay.
They'll tell you that.
So your daily,
I worked in there I had my class 1 in there for good year and a half, 2 years, year and a half, I'd say. And like that's a hard job to keep your class in because like people constantly get flipped out of there. You know, get fired and stuff for like selling sets and stuff, sets of food out, stealing food out and stuff. So, anyway, I ended up working there 7 days a week, weekends, holidays, and when I was in there, I had worked up to where I was baker job, or like I baked bread and baked desserts and stuff. That's a real hard job. It's real hot, messy and stuff, and I was working there 7 days a week, and sometimes 10 hours a day, 10, 12 hours a day. It just got nerve-wracking. Plus, too, they was wanting me to be a laundry clerk. Sergeant Armstrong had his position as a laundry clerk. He was calling Miss Butcher all the time. She went there and put me up for a job change, so I quit. They put me on whole squad.
What is whole squad?
Where you go out in these fields over here, and once you get used to it, it ain't really all that bad. But first, it's hard. You just use a hoe and chop the grass up, or like go out there, potato fields, green fields, pick potatoes, greens, all kinds of stuff.
You like that better? Or worse than the bakery?
You get a whole lot of free days off, and it's really less work.
Yeah.
Because you only work a few hours in the morning, a few hours in the afternoon, and 9 to 'em straight. Like, if there's a rainy day or something, or if it's real cold, you get the day off. You get weekends off automatic. You know, like today we had a day off today. I guess because due to skate blast.
Yeah.
Yesterday we worked, and day before yesterday we didn't work. You know.
And plus you don't get to wear the cool chef's hat?
We didn't have to wear one of those anyway.
No?
You didn't notice most chefs are kind of fat, though. They put on a little bit of weight. Apparently he didn't.
They didn't
They
eat
had-
I
enough of the
can't gain
bread.
no weight.
They apparently-
I'm like my mom. She's like real small.
Damien's also really thin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I seen a picture on him on Court TV the other day. I know he used to be bigger than me. I didn't know he done lost some weight.
He's pretty frail these days. He's pretty thin. That's why we're asking the questions about the food and everything, because he's not a big fan of the
Well, they got
Arkansas
commissary.
Department of Corrections food.
They got commissary, you know.
Hmm.
You can go look at my lunchbox right now. I got a bunch of soups and chips and cheese dip and Connie sauce in mine. And I like.
What's
Ready
your
up every
cell?
night.
Your cell? You have your own cell?
No,
Or?
it's a barracks, like 57, 58 people in it at the most. A little less because people come in and out and stuff.
What's that like?
No privacy. You get a rack. It's got on the end where I'm at, the locker boxes are built on the rack, and the rest of the 1 through 6 locker boxes are built on the rack. From 7 barracks to 22 barracks, you get a separate locker box from your rack.
So they just, are they just like bunk beds in a box
it's
sitting
just-
out in the open, or?
It's just a bed. It ain't bunk. It's a small big bed.
It's like a hospital kind of thing?
Kind of like a hospital bed.
All the beds
Except
are
not as
on.
comfortable.
Right. You don't get to buzz for the nurse.
No.
It's always pretty noisy. It's kind of hard to get some
Yeah.
peace and quiet.
Do you get along with people here?
Yeah, I can get along with it. If they can get along with me, I can get along with them.
Would you say you had friends here?
Yeah, I got some friends. Yeah.
What was it like when you first came in? Everybody thought, child killer and all this.
It's
I
that
mean,
Baldwin dude.
was everybody out to get you pretty much for that?
Yeah.
Because of it was almost like being back in West
But really
Memphis.
though, nothing really happened to me. First year or so I was here. I didn't really get no fights or nothing. People didn't really mess with me. You know, they'd argue with me, try to get me to box, and I'd say no. I'd be ready to fight, but they didn't ever fight. And the only time I really got into a fight was here this last year. And then I got jumped one time, got my collarbone broke.
That's what I heard.
Probably still see the bones sticking out.
Oh, yeah?
Huh.
Was that the extent of it, pretty much? Or didn't you have concussions also or something?
Yeah, because it knocked me out. My head was like swole up, and there for like a week afterwards, certain sounds were like made my eyes blur, and my eyes crossed.
That's
It was weird. They didn't never diagnose it or anything.
What can you tell us about the spoon torture of the heathen Chinese?
What?
Maybe you don't know about that.
Maybe that's another one of Damien's stories. Said that y'all used to hold Matt down, give him the spoon torture of the heathen Chinese, tapping on his chest with a spoon.
Oh yeah.
Let on
We
his
used to like
forehead.
play wrestling stuff all the time. Me, Daniel, Matt, my brother, like pop him with a spoon, and like when we was like, or like, me and David were like playing Super Nintendo or something, Matt would like come up and unplug one of our controllers, and where one of us, we'd be trying to get our controller, and another one of us would be whooping the other one on the game and stuff.
He deserved it then.
Can you tell us about the incident where y'all sent Matt into the church to get Kool-Aid and cookies? Does that ring a bell at all?
Oh, there's like, at church one time, they was like having a thing all day, like get together, you know, like where they had like, us have cookies and cakes and stuff. They told them, go and get us some cookies and Kool-Aid and all that.
He told us about the Kroger shopping basket full of stuff.
Is it Kroger? Yeah, man.
Just to go right out of Kroger pushing it back.
I can't believe that. My brother walked into Kroger, filled a basket full of cakes and chips and whatever, and just pushed it right out. Maybe I shouldn't tell that.
Yeah, I was about to say,
We'll make sure that's edited.
keep that one kind of low. You think he had just a look, like a certain look that he could get away with stuff like that?
I don't know. I think the lady opened the door for him too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice little child.
Do you ever have any, and I asked this, if you don't want to answer it, that's no problem, but a lot of people, along with the satanic aspect of this whole thing, a lot of people are thinking, you know, that, oh, there must have been drug usage and, you know, had to be, do you ever use drugs at all? You know, when you're a teenager, it's like,
I drank sometimes at parties and stuff, but I never bought it. I didn't like, have no money. I remember one time we went to this girl's apartment. She was having some kind of party or something. You know, I was over there and ended up drinking some Evan Williams or some kind of whiskey, and I was like drunk. I was like bad drunk, tore down. I was like on the floor and I had to throw up. And the girl was like, no, don't throw up on my carpet now. And I seen something, it was a shoe. I threw up in the shoe and it was dangerous. It was mad too because he had like got them for Christmas. It was brand new at the time, some brand new black top Reeboks.
Did he put them on?
I don't know, I left because my mom came to get me. I was like supposed to be home at 12 and it was like 3. She came and got me and like, I sobered up real fast. I was like I wasn't drunk or nothing. I got in the car. Then she started driving. She went around a corner and I had to roll the window down. She's like, you been drinking? I'm like, yeah. Just shut up. Don't yell at me. She was, you're grounded for a month. I'm like, all right, okay. Just don't talk to me no more.
go off my back.
Don't yell. I got a headache.
Don't scream.
No turns. Don't take any more turns. It's so bad.
I wanted to ask you, have you ever actually been to the Robin Hood Hills woods? You had never been in the woods at all?
I never even heard of them.
That was the first time, because Damien also mentioned that. It's just ironic. For such a small town, even as a kid, if y'all had been snake hunting and all that kind of stuff,
Well,
I've never been in there.
I was like way, like here goes my trailer park. That was like way over there towards Memphis.
I think that's what he told us. Y'all were actually closer, what, to Marion, I think?
Yeah.
Something like that, farther out?
We like lived right between Marion and West Memphis. We went to Marion schools and stuff.
To see in the movie, it makes it seem like all this stuff about Damien and Dominique on the service road, it makes it seem like it was just a casual walk over to the woods.
None of us knew how to drive.
Yeah.
I remember that summer I was going to try to learn how to drive, get a driver's license and a job, buy me a car. But I wound up in jail.
Had you heard about any kind of alleged teen or satanic or cult activity in those woods, like all this crap about the orgies and all this kind of stuff? Think of her. You never really heard any rumors around
came
town.
out until after the murders. That's when all those rumors came out.
That's the first time, so there weren't a lot of people gathering back there, teenagers having parties or anything like that.
I know. I went around there.
Did you attend a church at all? Ever?
I used to when I was little. I used to go to Sunday school and stuff all the time. But I just kind of grew out of like Sunday mornings. I really didn't want to get up for church because Monday was school day.
Did most people in that community, were they pretty devout churchgoers?
Just the old people and the real young kids.
Did you ever sense that there was all this satanic panic or fear or anything prior to this stuff coming up? So it sort of maybe seemed like it was sort of out of character for the community to jump on the Satan.
It just blew up after all
theory
that
like
stuff happened.
Was it pretty much, you know, had you heard all kinds of rumors about how, you know, circumstances of the murder and that, yeah.
Yeah. It was like saying it could have been a trucker or any kind of stuff. And like they had rumors on how it was done and all that junk.
Did y'all ever
Remember-
joke about it? Like the two girls that said they overheard Damien at a ball game or whatever. Did y'all ever
I know what
joke
he was
or-
saying. He was telling somebody about the police coming questioning him, what the police was saying to him or something. I don't know. I wasn't really older by him. I was older. This girl I was going out with, she was like playing softball team, and I was over there with him. And he only went out there to the game one time. It was like I just started going out with her like a few weeks before I got arrested. I only went to 2 of her. No, I went to 3 of her games. Damien only went to 1 of them with me.
So as far as the girls that got up on the stand and everything, you were present during their testimony, right? It appeared as so in the film. That was the first time you had even heard any of that?
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of a surprise to you. Michael Carson's testimony came as a surprise also?
Yeah, 'cause I didn't hear nothing about that till right before he was coming up. And my lawyer goes, "What do you know about this guy that's coming in?" What was that? It was this Michael Carson guy. Like, give me some detail. Tell me.
Mhm.
He started telling me all this stuff. I'm like, what?
Let alone that all the stuff he said was wrong.
You guys want to sit down? Want a chair? I'll be here for a while, you're
That's what
welcome
they
to.
do.
If you can and you want to, yeah.
It's like that
Make
Seinfeld
yourself.
episode.
All right. Do you have any religious beliefs?
Basically, I've been brought up to be Baptist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still have that?
All the time, I'm like thinking of God and stuff. But I'm not like every single week church goer. You know. I just really don't really even think about really religion, you know, until Sundays or something. You know.
You think it helps you at all through here?
I don't know. I don't know.
What helps you the most? You're saying it was your mom and your...
Yeah, it's my mom and brother and stuff.
Do you feel like there's a lot of people out there now that are on your side? Do you
Yeah.
get that feeling?
I get a whole bunch of letters and stuff. I'm like, somebody's feeling bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many letters do you get? Do you get a lot?
Well, everybody complains, and the Barrett's like, man, you got all the mail today.
Do you get a lot of mail?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
How much would you say a day?
It's 3 letters a day. From different people.
A lot of people you haven't corresponded with before that just saw the movie and
Yeah.
right. Do you answer much of it?
I'll probably answer about 1 letter a week, maybe.
You get a lot of people that want to come visit you or come, that request a visitation with you and so forth after seeing the movie?
Well, there's a couple of people. A couple of people just want to come see me, besides y'all.
Why is it I know this is a dumb question, but answer it if you would. Why is it that you've chosen not to talk to anybody media-wise since then? I mean, I say that because Damien has talked to the media, Court TV, and Mara Leverett with the Arkansas Times, people like that he seems to, trust a little bit, whether they eventually screwed over him or not. I mean, is it just a little paranoid about what the media's done to you already and think that it might...
I'm just leery of them.
Do you think it's possible for you to get a fair shake from the media at any point?
I don't know, because really their motive's just to sell the story.
Mm.
Really, their heart's only into selling the story, not really what the topic's about. Portraying the right story.
Were you advised by your attorney not to talk to
that
the
too.
media?
He'd probably blow a gasket if he knew I was doing this right now.
You think so? You think
Yeah.
you would object to it? You're aware, I know Burke had mentioned this, but you're aware that this is not going to be, sold or distributed or anything like that without you
Aware of it.
knowing about it first off. In fact, before we leave, we'll need you to sign something that will pretty much protect you in that respect, and release things for us.
Photographs.
Yeah, we'll let you see everything we do. Because this is all just for you guys. So it's not like we want to sell a magazine.
And I know I've told you this over the phone, but nobody here is making any money off this. This trip is coming out of everybody's pocket. This has been pretty much an effort. It'd be great if, we're starting to get, in fact, I should tell you this, I finally got a separate account open because we're getting so many contributions for the name West Memphis 3. Instead, in fact, we're not getting that much anymore for Damien Eccles support fund. Now it's pretty much all West Memphis 3 support fund because it's been in so many magazines and on the internet and so forth. and the funding for that is going to pay for, you know, this kind of stuff, film, processing, travel expenses and so forth. So, but I guess we just wanted to, you know, make you aware that you know, there's somebody here that has an angle with the media to screw over you or to make you look like a killer or anything like that, obviously. So, is there anything that you would like to say to anybody at all, to the families, to your own family, to the world? I mean, anything about?
I could, if I go to the Bears right now, I'd think of a million things.
As it comes up, you know, as we go along here, anything that comes up, if there's something you want to make clear, you know, stop us and make a statement.
It's something you might have wanted to have said at the trial or at the chambers, or say something. Because anyone that sees the movie, it is frustrating when you're watching it and we never hear from you. It's like, why won't they let him talk? So,
I think that's one of the things that you come away from the film, you're thinking, man, what. I remember my response at the end when you're hauling you guys out in chains and everything. I'm like, what happened?
I remember they didn't put that in the movie, but after they gave us the time, the sentencing, the judge asked us if we had anything to say. And I told him I was innocent, and he goes, he got a real smart attitude. He goes, well, the jury found different. That made me mad.
He seemed to have trouble staying awake from what I could tell during the trial. You know, basically all I saw was him chewing gum and just kind of like keeping his eyes halfway open. So I doubt he knows a whole lot about what the jury thought or.
Yeah, I know, but in between, like during recess breaks, him and the prosecuting attorney would be like, hey, we're gonna use your deer camp this year or whatever, your cabin for all this, for hunting and all this, you know.
That had to be very comforting for you to hear, I'm sure.
Like, yeah, sound like the best buddies.
good old boy.
You know, what was the guy, Ridge, Burn?
Yeah, Brian Ridge.
I heard that he and John Mark Byers were friends. Did that come up? Did you see them talking to each other?
Yeah, I seen him talk.
Like buddies?
Of course, I seen him talking to all the police.
Yeah. Wasn't it rumored that Byers was an informant, I think, for the local police and all this kind of stuff, and drug user and so on.
He must figure for them to like be so light on him, he's got to know something. They must be doing something they're not supposed to do, and he knows about it.
Did you ever hear about, before this all happened, had you ever heard of John Mark Byers? Was he ever, he just sort of popped into existence at this thing? He was like a local odd guy?
Had you ever seen any of the, had you ever seen Christopher Branch, Stevie Branch rather, Christopher Byers, or Michael Moore at all?
Recognize.
I mean, they were just little kids, if you ever did see them, just were kids on the playground or something.
We was never around that area. Like, we were like, really, I consider myself living at Marion, Lake Shore. Like, they had Lake Shore, like, there was a bunch of kids, like little kids, and kids my little brother Terry's age, Matt's age, my age, Damon's age. Like, basically, we had people all over my house all the time, different ages. All my little brother's friends, both my brother's friends, my friends. Like, they were over listening to stereo, playing Nintendo, whatever. It's like I had to like stay at home a lot of time during the week, babysit. My brother's like, my mom was at work and stuff. And, like, the best way to watch over them, not make them mad, is have their friends come over, you know, and let them play Super Nintendo or whatever, you know.
What do you think about this little incident where they pulled this machete out of the pond behind your house or whatever, that, you know, they entered into evidence, the fact that it took them an hour, by the time they suited up, they jumped in, they come up with a big bayonet, which obviously couldn't have been used for the murder anyway. What do you think about that? Or do you have any
They
suspicions?
could have probably found it in there, I don't know, but I swam in that lake for like, you can't see that far from your hand, just right up under the water. It's like
Right.
green with algae, but they probably did. They probably could have found it in there, but there's like millions of things in there, and there's like people always fishing in there and stuff. Maybe a guy fishing in a boat or something knocked it in there.
It looked like a fishing knife. Had that,
Saw blade
yeah,
on the back.
like
you
a
know.
survival type knife.
It looked like a Rambo knife.
Yeah, it did.
Well, where's Charlie the cat getting all his fish now these days? He having to catch them himself?
He still lives out there.
Does
My mom,
really?
when she moved, she couldn't get him to get in the car with her.
Oh, really?
Oh.
So Charlie's
They
still
brought the
out.
dog. And one had died.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How old is he, Vaughn?
Well, I got him like the summer before we got arrested. So
Hmm.
died a year after. About maybe a year and a half after I got locked up. So probably about 2.5 years.
What Charlie look like? In case we haven't seen him.
Big old black and white fuzz ball. And don't even try to pick him up.
Could be dangerous.
Unless you have a
Yeah.
fish, right?
Have you heard anything about buyers or anything since you've been here?
Yeah, I hear he's always getting in trouble and stuff. I heard that his wife, Melissa Byers, died. They found a whole bunch of drugs that had just like got in their system, but it didn't kill her. But they didn't say what killed her and all that. But they like keeping it real down in them down though. They didn't want to get it out.
Mhm.
What do you think? You think he had something to do with it? Just your own theory?
Like I said, what's happened to me, I don't like to put people, you know, I don't want to put people through the same thing I'm going through, but to me it sounds like he kind of crazy until he did it.
Does sound like
What are some things we're planning on going up to West Memphis? What are some things that you think we ought to look at?
There ain't nothing in West Memphis to look at.
The "You are leaving West Memphis" sign?
You stop in at the Blue Beacon and you have a cup of coffee and keep on going.
There's some interest. I mean, are there things there that you would say kind of represented, you know, you guys' life there? Like, where did you hang out, or?
No, there's like nothing out there now.
Yeah, has it changed a lot?
The only thing that was really out there was our houses.
Yeah.
Where we lived.
So did you go like out of town to do fun stuff usually?
We went to the skating ring. We got there. Fun. It was right there.
I noticed on your right hand you have a pinky ring.
Yeah.
It's the same. Damien's got the same one.
Yeah, I got this from this girl.
Yeah. Who'd you get that from?
Girl named Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's alright
She
for
was
me
like
to
at
ask
the
her.
trial and like supporting us and stuff. Like,
Do you still keep in contact with her?
yeah, I write her every now and then. She came up to see me. She was supposed to come see me here recently, but like something happened. She wasn't able to get up here.
Did you draw my skull yet? We're gonna, you know, I told you I'm going to spell your name wrong on everything we do.
He has been harping on that.
I've been, ever since my first letter to him, I've been harping on that.
Do you have any hobbies that like when you're not working?
Well, when
Is
I
there-
was at home, I used to like draw a lot. Really getting to draw. I really don't like to draw. Really.
Just because you don't have a place to sit and do it comfortably.
Maybe.
Like you were talking about writing the letters. And Damien said you should pursue it. Said you were like incredibly good, better than the art instructor and all that at the school. I mean, he was really raving it
That
out.
was a long time ago. Though. I did win a bunch of stuff at school. Though.
Oh yeah.
Art contest?
Yeah. I don't know. It's right now. Sometimes the way I feel is I'll start on something like don't even finish it.
What kind of things do you draw?
Well, I used to like draw stuff like metallic stuff. Man, here lately I've been drawing like when I do draw, it's like draw people
You draw the other inmates and do portraits?
sometimes. But really, I get tired drawing them because they all wear the same thing.
That's true.
Were you ever interested in music at all? Did you ever play in a band, or ever, you know, did you guys go to concerts very often or anything like
Oh,
that?
we never had any money to go to concerts.
Yeah.
Didn't have any money for instruments.
Just listen to
A
her.
friend of ours, he had a guitar. I used to try to learn to play it. Learned a little bit, like the beginning of where I'm rolling all the time.
Let me ask you this: if you, Bert kind of touched on this earlier, but when you're finally out of this and after all this crap is over and everything, do you think you might would be, would you think about writing a book or trying to, you know, in any kind of way,
Yeah, I've tried
tell
to,
the story to people?
I get a lot of good ideas for the book when I'm like laying down, but when I like sit up and try to write it, I like think too fast to write it all down. When I'm trying to write it down, my hand will start hurting, and when I try to think back so I can write it down right, it just comes out all wrong. Or maybe I like typewriter or something.
What kind of stuff do you write?
I was thinking about writing a book about all this.
About your story?
Yeah.
So have you started on that? Or do you have like a little collection of notes?
Yeah, but they really weren't all that good.
I don't know, you'd probably be surprised how good it probably is.
Yeah. I think you'd have a bestseller in your hands with the interest now in this sort of thing. Enough to, where the book would probably finance whatever other area, music store or whatever it is you'd be interested in. You'd probably be really surprised. Amazing.
It's a big market for interesting stories, and this one classifies as an interesting story. I know.
Absolutely.
But do you know how big a deal this movie is out there? I mean, do you have any idea how big a deal it is?
I mean, you.
I know I get a subscription to Details magazine. It was that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when I had Billy Corgan on the front of it, I think.
Mhm.
That was actually a pretty good article, I thought. It was like, you see, like, the tone of almost everything that, at least the reviews of that movie anyway, are really up and positive, and certainly imply doubt about your guilt and so forth.
You know Siskel and Ebert,
Yeah,
those guys? They both gave it big thumbs
Yeah,
up.
I read a newspaper article.
It was in Spin magazine. There was
I
something
had
in
a subscription to Spin, but it run out. And when I was getting it, they like wouldn't let me have like every other issue. They like the prison board like find something wrong with it. It's like, no, you can't have this. You gotta send it home.
Why do you think they're so strict about the stuff you get in the mail?
Really don't know.
I mean, are they strict on everybody here? Or is it just, do they single you out for your high profile or notoriety, or is it just the ADC is just real strict about what they let inmates? Because I noticed a lot of stuff we send to Damien, no problem at all. He gets it. There's stuff he got that we would have never even thought would have been allowed. I've sent you things, something as simple as an HBO guide, just in a, listing Paradise Lost, and it had to be sent back to me. I'm thinking, Jesus,
I don't know. Maybe it's a mail fee. 'Cause I know this one guy, his girlfriend was like sending him pictures of her like went in her bikini and stuff, and like they wouldn't let him have them. But then he like wrote agreements and stuff. The mail lady had to give them to her. Like she lets Playboy magazines go through. And then she went and let a guy a picture of his own wife.
I figured. I guess they just have individual evaluation of everything.
I
that
think
comes
it's just
through.
the person who's working in the mailroom that day.
So they open all the mail and look at it and
Yeah.
make sure it's all cool.
So how do you get your mail when you get a letter from someone? Is it opened and?
Yeah, they staple it shut or tape it back shut.
So you get it. You get the envelope and everything. It's just been opened. And can you receive a package? Like if someone were to send you, like a packet book or something, they open that too. And,
Yeah. Books and stuff have to be sent from the bookstore or publisher.
right.
What do you do when you receive so many books or whatever that there's no more room in your footlocker or whatever?
Yeah, I try to read a book, I just pass it on.
Yeah, okay. So you don't really have so many possessions that it's ever a big problem for you.
My locker's packed full, I got a bunch of junk. It's basically just junk.
What kind of stuff do you have in there?
Junk.
Stuff people
told you,
send
yeah.
you, or
Yeah.
stuff you
Yeah.
brought with you?
I got a laundry bag full of just a bunch of old mail and stuff. And I got like 4 photo albums full of pictures and then a stack of pictures. And I got like a little box full of like personal hygiene deodorant and stuff like that. You gotta keep all that in your box. And I got 2 laundry bags, one for like dirty laundry and one for clean laundry. And you can't leave that stuff laying around. People like steal it.
So you've got a lock on there, and you have like a combination lock.
Yeah, key lock.
Let me ask you this, just out of personal curiosity, and again, I hope it doesn't make you uncomfortable or it's inappropriate, let me know, but in the movie, your mom spoke really not very much, or a couple of times, they interviewed her and so forth. But is your dad still living? I mean, your dad was never interviewed, there was never
Yeah.
any mention of your dad.
He lives in Sheridan, Arkansas, right over here.
Do you see him much?
Yeah, I've seen him twice since all this happened. Came once to him while I was in jail, and once in here.
Is he supportive of it?
Yeah.
Do you
I
have
call
a
him
good
all the
relationship
time.
with him and so forth?
I had to talk to him on the phone night before last.
How has he been affected by all this? A lot or not much? Or?
He's telling me he knows a whole lot of stuff about that Mark Byers guy. He heard a lot about him.
All right.
Yeah. He said something about it.
Off the record.
What did he say?
His brother-in-law, he told me this the other night. His brother-in-law, what did he say? My dad's brother-in-law. He comes up here.
Your dad's brother?
Yeah, he told my dad and he saw me up here.
Oh, that's
Is there a red light on?
Is he with the Department of Corrections, or he's,
Really, I don't know. I
he
don't
just
know.
works with some kind of program that assists inmates or something? It was torn off, where it's a print, a reproduction or a print of a Polaroid. It's not an actual Polaroid. It was, made from an original Polaroid, and it looked like the bottom of it had been torn off, as if somebody had written something on the bottom. But it was just the two of you kind of standing there, and I think Matt's hair is real long. He was wearing some kind of like thing around his neck that looked like a voodoo doll or something. I think I forget what kind of T-shirt he had. It looked like it was taken probably, I got to think about, I don't know, within the last year. And behind you is a big kind of a airbrush backdrop. I'm assuming during personal visits,
Yeah, it must have been
they take
here
pictures.
recently.
Yeah, it would have been in the last, probably in the last year or so. Is
A
that's
voodoo doll.
well, some kind of weird skeleton thing or something that he had. He was wearing it around his neck.
Around his neck. Sure it wasn't printed on the T-shirt?
I don't think so. Maybe it was. I'll go back and look at it again. I'll have a copy
I
of that
know
made.
the only thing he's
Send it
ever
to
wore
you.
up here around his neck was a nirvana necklace.
No, it wasn't that. Maybe it was on the shirt. I'll go back and look at it.
He's
Closer.
wearing
No, he wore this one shirt up here that had metallic on it, and like this skeleton guy with the top hat on like
That's
sort
what
of
it
like
was.
baton
Oh.
things.
So that
On
was
the
on
shirt.
that was on the shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, it almost looks like he's wearing it as a necklace thing, kind of like your ID tag. Sort of thing. I don't. Well, I didn't look at it that
Yeah,
close.
they just started making us wear these things. I'm looking through real.
You have to wear them all the time?
Yeah, don't get caught without them. Disciplinary action.
Uh-oh. Back to the hose squad.
Mm.
Yeah, so if you want those pictures copied, just send them. I'll do it. Because I can do all kinds of color copies, and if you want more than one picture, you can do that. And then you can give them whoever you want.
Cool.
So you can do that.
And they let you have photos here, right? Those
Yeah.
can be mailed in, no problem. Because I've got some of her in a bikini though.
Cool.
Well, we can't get them. I guess we can't send them.
Send the ones you get in Playboy, then you can get that.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that issue.
All those back issues of Playboy that you're in?
It's just me after they talk to him, they tell me what he said. I'm like,
Hmm.
So there's a lot of conflicting stories between the two.
he'll just tell you whatever you want to hear. If you want to hear that Elvis is alive, I guess he'll tell you.
So when we interview him, we should probably not lead him so much as just let him talk and just see what he says.
Yeah.
Is he pretty, to your knowledge, is he pretty nervous about talking to us? Is he pretty, didn't you say that he walked out originally when y'all went in to sign at the ward
That's
office?
because when they first called us in the sign thing, they didn't say it was from y'all. They just said we got a thing from the media.
Mm.
They didn't have a sign. And I started saying, nah. And I go, wait a minute. Which media? They go, we don't know. Oh, who are the people? What are they? I said, let me see the paper. Y'all got the paper that asked for it? Oh, yeah. And I looked at it and it had y'all's name. I said, oh, yeah, this one.
This media's okay.
Would you feel uncomfortable if we tried to contact Paul Ford and just talk to him and ask him?
What the hell are you
Just,
doing?
well, no, I mean, we just want to know things that, that we probably wouldn't have access to, things that you apparently don't even have access to about the current status, how's it
Yeah.
going, and we'd also like to ask him about some of those Michael Carson things, stuff that didn't come out in the movie so much. He's a pretty nice guy, pretty easy to talk with.
Yeah, he's pretty nice.
You kind of look like him now, too.
What?
With glasses and ponytail. Except you're better looking.
I can take my glasses off.
Say, well, I'm taking them off, that's
You think
it.
he's really gonna go to Disneyland?
I don't even want to go there, but that was like a long time ago.
Is he,
It took,
Yeah, you're right.
We live in Disneyland, so.
Yeah, we do. Real life Disney. Do you want to do the official
Should we
1
do the
minute
1 minute
interview? Did
interview?
you ever see Damien's 1 minute interview that we did?
yeah, the thing I sent him.
Oh, you sent him?
Yeah.
Because we were thinking of
Couple
doing
them, I
one
think.
for you too, like, just so people could have, so we're gonna ask you all the
Yeah, I
questions.
already told him about that. We're just gonna
Oh,
do it
okay.
on tape, and then we'll make up our flyer, or she will make up our flyer.
Would you
Tape
rather-
stuff.
Oh. If you'd rather get like a copy of the questions on a piece of paper and fill out and like think about the answers and write them down and send them back, would you rather do that?
Do both,
We could do
Yeah,
both.
let's do both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
We can wait.
If there's anything you can't give a direct response to right here.
It takes longer than 1 minute too, by the way.
Not to read it, but to do it.
False advertising.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Ah.
Didn't change it to
Busted.
3.7 minutes. They're pretty straightforward questions. But the first one is, what's your age?
19.
Date of birth?
4/11/77.
Full legal name?
Charles Jason Baldwin.
Zodiac sign.
Favorite color? How long have you known Damien?
Since I was in 7th grade, so that'd be 3 years out in the free world and 3 years in here, so I'd say 6 years.
How long have you known Jesse?
Since 6th grade. I knew him, so 1 year longer, 7 years.
This is a good one here. Please list all incidents of unlawful activity with these people.
If any.
Rick.
If any.
In other words, had you been in trouble with either one of these guys in any capacity prior to your?
Besides the cooking Kool-Aid incident.
And you've actually told us your theories about who you think may have actually killed these people. So you don't need to reiterate that one.
Unless you want to.
Yeah, just roughly. And again, this is not to make you look like you're accusing anyone. This is just your opinion, as we all have one, of what we think happened.
Did you ever talk to that one guy that was like in that book, that was Mark Byers' friend?
Yeah, sure. Opie Taylor or whatever.
That's who it is.
Sure did. I didn't talk to him like at length, but he's totally convinced that he was there for every day of the trial, heard all the testimony, and he's totally convinced they got the right people. But if you met this guy, he doesn't have sense enough to pour piss out of a boot. So I mean, this is not somebody that I would give put a lot of credence into anything he said. Which is why we're kind of interested. We're under the assumption, I guess, that you guys probably theorize that it was Byers as well. But if not, do you think that there's a possibility it could have been some random serial killer kook? I mean, just what have you thought about?
Yeah, it might have been Byers and that one guy, or I don't know.
You can see that Byers probably had more of a reason
Yeah,
for it
'cause
than anyone else.
Didn't he say in court when he was 18 or so, same thing that like happened to him when he was younger, except he wasn't killed?
I've heard that.
Some said like he was raped and sodomized and hogtied and thrown into a ditch when he was 18.
I did hear that. Maybe you told me that over the phone, but I have heard that before. Not in the movie, though.
No,
Not
it
in
wasn't
the book.
in the movie, it was in court, I think.
It's
But it was off the
transcripts for
record.
that.
Yeah, we'd have to.
Oh, it was off the record?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What's your opinion about these are sort of like catchphrases, but as far as it pertains to what happened here, do you think that small town mentality or poor man's justice figured into it?
Yeah. They was all dead set against us, and like we didn't like have the money. OJ had to like fight against it. And, like really, they didn't really take nothing we said seriously anyway. Everything we said, they like, oh, there's fine.
So you think they kind of came after you because you just couldn't afford to prove innocence, basically?
Yeah, really, they didn't have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And really, if they didn't go against the right people, they'd went after somebody wrong anyway. Talking to somebody else right here, probably right there anyway.
You think it's because the obvious reason that the town wanted the murder, or they wanted somebody,
Yeah, they
to
wanted
lock up for
somebody.
that? So I mean, you think it was just pretty
Well,
much.
they was gonna get somebody.
Have you heard, there was this article in the paper that James Sparks discovered, a radio personality like Johnny Hollywood or something is speaking out saying that he's the one who actually saw the real killers and police have never paid attention to him. Have you heard about him?
No.
Yeah, supposedly that's some big new thing. We'll have to look into that.
Do you have faith in the present justice system?
Not really, but it's the best one that's around right now, so I had to order it. But they have to have some kind of justice system, because like, I know from people in here, a lot of these guys deserve to be locked up, but and if they wasn't as aggressive as they was, they wouldn't get them. So they have to be aggressive on who they get, but they still get the wrong people mixed up.
Do you think the film has the film Paradise Lost has the potential to shed light on the case and therefore help it?
Yeah. So the media from before, like, was only if I had to listen to my lawyer and I'd have talked out, we'd all, Damien did, like, we talked out like before. We gave the media some other input. So like when they went out, they wouldn't only just had the prosecutor's side of the story, they had our side of the story. It'd been better, but since they only got the prosecutor's side of the story, before it was all bad, those prosecutors actually would say bad stuff about you. So this, he comes out from both sides, so it brings out the good and the bad. So it's good.
Let me interrupt you just at this point. This is not on the interview thing, but as far as something you said in the movie, and I realize you were a kid and it was 3 years ago and all that, and you possibly regret saying it, but you had made a statement in the film when they said something, Paul Ford had said, do you see now how Damien, testifying made himself, look guilty or something like that, and you had made a statement, yeah, I guess the way, it did kind of make him look like, like he could be guilty and all that. Do you still think that, after seeing the actual film, the way it was presented and all, you still think he made himself look guilty in some of the
Not
things he
guilty,
said?
but bad. They twisted him around and stuff, and made his stuff look bad. Like, one party was trying to say that if the killer did do it, that it was probably that killer's common sense that it would be fun, right? And then they try to make it look like it was his common sense.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fun.
But actually what he said was totally true. To the person that did it, they must have wanted to do it. That's what he said, that nobody made him do it, or made them do it, or whoever it was, which makes common sense. I appreciate that you were on the spot, when they said, would you still be friends with Damien and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of hard because you want to please your attorney and you don't want to betray your friendship with Damien and all that. So that really wasn't a fair question, but I was
But it
just
does
curious if you
confuse a
still-
lot of people.
Yeah,
And
it
that
does.
seems to be when people see the movie, they kind of go, well, if Jason even thinks he did it, and some people get really confused with that because they think you think he did it.
You didn't say that.
No,
What
no,
I'm-
he didn't. But
what-
that's what people think. Like, whoa, that's what he said.
My point is, like, don't you think that had he actually been guilty of doing something like that, you would have almost had to have known because you spent so much time with him?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know, I was with him part of that day. I was with him. He was waiting at my house when I got off the bus, and then went to my uncle's house, and he called his mom. His mom came and got him over there.
So you know for a fact there was no way he was in the woods after 5:30 or 6 that night and during the time that all that stuff was
So
there?
I saw him again the next day. And he was, I think he was at my house when my mom told me about it. I don't know. I really don't remember that. But,
It was a while ago.
I know my mom told me to watch out for my brothers, make sure they don't go out playing off. Cause my brothers like play. We got some woods close to my house too.
Hmm.
That all the kids go play and stuff in.
The next question is, what are the 3 greatest misconceptions about you that have been suggested by you?
Not me.
Yeah.
Really ain't heard nothing about me too much in the meeting.
I think that's a good
The
answer.
fact that they think you're linked with a cult, though, for instance.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the only thing I've heard.
you pretty much discount that as a bunch of bull, right?
Yeah.
You think it was based on anything other than your association with Damien and your Metallica T-shirts?
They said I was friends with Damien. I was friends with Damien. I wore Metallica t-shirts. In fact, they had them at court. And they all my Metallica t-shirts and stuff. Said I wore all black and all that. They didn't get none of my other clothes out of my closet.
So that was pretty
I
much
had
the
white-
extent of your satanic affiliation, was just a couple of shirts and the fact that you were friends with Damien?
Yeah. In fact, I really never wore all black anyway because I didn't have not a single pair of black pants.
I hate to see it if a real satanic cult moved into West Memphis.
Did you ever jokingly, before you were arrested, but after the murders, did you ever jokingly confess or joke about it?
I never joked about it. I remember one time it was after the police was giving Damien a hard time about this stuff. We was at skating ring, like, we was playing pool over there, and like, the skating ring goes, we're gonna give a quiet moment for the kids, you know. I was quiet, but Damien goes, nah, man, I ain't gonna be quiet because I'm all this trouble that the police is starting with me and all this stuff. I'm like, nah, man. It's not their fault the police are messing with you.
What's your opinion of Garner?
Why? I don't know. I wouldn't recommend coming here for a visit and stay.
Is it worse than you thought it would be, or is it better than you thought it would be?
Actually, I thought it was gonna be like you ever seen that movie Tango and Cash? Sylvester Stallone, remember when he was going through prison?
Mhm.
It was like all real tall and dark, and everybody's like throwing burning toilet paper and all this stuff, and it was all fighting and stuff. That's what I thought it was gonna be like. I was like, oh man.
So it was then a little better than you figured it was going to be, huh?
Yeah, because when I was in county jail, we didn't have commissary. We didn't watch TV except one channel. So we was in lockdown almost all the time. Then I came here. They had commissary. They had movie. I came here on a Friday, and they were sitting there playing movies all night and stuff. And everybody was just running around drinking sodas and stuff. I was like, man, I'm almost free, ain't I? Wasn't no police escort with me everywhere I went.
What do you think you'd do if you were released immediately, like if you left today?
I wouldn't be able to get away from my mom. I know that.
And you mentioned like maybe a music store or something.
Yeah, maybe like think about opening up something where I can help keep my brother out of trouble too, like getting him working there. Open like a store that sells like music tapes and skateboard stuff, you know. Maybe have like a little arcade or something in it, you know. Something not really. I don't really want to get rich. I don't care about being rich, but you know, just something to make money and just lay low, you know.
Keep your brother out of trouble.
Yeah.
You can write your book and get rich.
Yeah. You let your brother run the business and you write your book.
My mom said, I want to help run it too.
Yeah.
I said, no, I need a chauffeur or whatever, chaperone this way.
Yeah, really. Mom at work.
Do you think you have a lot of friends who are people that correspond with you, people that you are in contact with that honestly believe that you're innocent? Or do you think that a lot of people write to you just to have sort of a brush with the so-called celebrity?
Most of the people write because they think I'm innocent. And a couple of people write just some off-the-wall stuff. I didn't even think about writing anything.
Like what?
This one girl, she wrote some stuff like, said she was into Satanism and all that. And she thought I did it, you know. She was like, wanted to write me and all this. Like,
Damien says he's got different piles. He's got like the pervert pile and the maybe I'll answer it pile.
And then the pastors that want to save his soul pile and all that. You get a lot of people, religious people that
well, I
want to
got this
come.
one guy that writes me and comes see me like, he lives in Memphis. He's like this real church-going guy and stuff. He's pretty cool though. He comes see me and stuff. He talks about God a lot and stuff, but he's not very good. Steve doesn't like. I mean, Damien doesn't like. You know, his name's Steve. Him and Damien don't get along. Hey, him and the church dude, my brother don't get along either.
You're the only one that gets along with it.
I get along with these already.
How would you act differently if there was a retrial? When there's a retrial, how do you think you'll act differently?
Yeah, because pretty much know what to expect. And I know what happened last time. You know, really, I'm not going to really be scared of the media this time.
But you won't sit there and be silent, you don't think, huh?
And the last one, that's
Might get a couple of contempt of courts when I say something I don't like it.
The last one is more towards Damien, but how do you feel about the death penalty?
I don't know. I don't like it because one Damien's over there, and I know there can be innocent people who get over there, and once they get executed before they can be found innocent. Because I know a lot of people, it takes like 15 years. I've heard they be innocent and not get proved guilty, get proved not guilty and stuff. You know, what if he's over there and gets killed? And if you, not too long after, bam, they find out who really did it. You know, but then it's good though, because some people over there really deserve it. You know, they're. I've met people here, they deserve everything they get.
They might even want it. There's people that want the death penalty. That was about a minute.
See?
A few minutes.
Not so bad. 1
Did
minute.
you get all the
30.
ones on your card?
I think we did.
Now we get to just
I
chat.
wanted to ask you a couple of questions about we were talking about the pastor and all that kind of stuff. Does an experience like this, has it made you more religious or less religious or the same? I mean, do you,
Really, I don't like religion.
but it just had
And all
tested
this
your
really
faith
makes
or-
me dislike religion.
Really?
'Cause I'm really kind of, I have a lot of time to think. I look back at all the wars and stuff that happened because of religion and stuff, you know. And religion is another thing people fight and argue about.
You believe there is a devil?
There's a God. Probably the Bible's true. It says there's a devil. It says some angel got in a fight with God and he cast him down and hell and all that. You know, trying to get people to do bad.
Well, that's it, we got our questions covered.
Now we can just chat.
Anything you'd like to talk about?
Who are you?
Now you can interview us.
You got anything you want to ask us? No kidding. You don't know that much about it. We've been asking all the questions ever since we started writing. So.
Y'all get in contact with all the movie stars and all them people.
Here and
Once in
there.
a while, we do.
Here and there. Get to see, we see them on the street sometimes, see them in the restaurant.
I photographed one of the pictures a month ago.
Oh yeah?
I ran into O.J. Simpson on the golf course.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that scared me.
Did he have blood on him?
No.
But there's a little trail.
Yeah.
Burke works with a lot of people like that. And
Yeah.
Just in the capacity of
Screen on
screenwriting.
movies and TV shows. Do you get Nickelodeon here?
No, I don't get nothing really.
No cable?
He's got some pretty amazing tales. You're gonna find some interesting things about this guy. I did.
How do people
When I
act
first
like-
met him, I thought he was just some boring jerk, but he turned out to be pretty interesting.
I am a boring jerk.
Some of the people on the screen, do they really act like they do in real life, like they do on the screen, or is it like
You know what's funny? I'll
totally
tell you.
opposite?
I'll tell you what's really funny is, in my experience, when you have good guys and bad guys in movies, you know, where you've got the super sweet person that you love in a film, generally those people turn out to be jerks. And the people that are the meanest badass bastards that you can imagine are usually the really nice ones. That's the way it always works out. It's funny. Like, I work
Like
on
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, he's probably a real, I've never met him, but he's probably a real sweetheart, you know, but, you know, people like Demi Moore or something, apparently a jerk, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Big egos in that city.
There's a lot of them, though, that don't have such bad egos, you know, you meet some people that you'd expect to be just egotistical maniacs, and you talk to them, they're just like right down to your level, and they talk to you just like a person. And you get all types.
Usually smaller in real life.
Yeah.
That could be really big. He's like, gosh, I'm taller than him. Yeah.
Almost
That's
ran
a
over
pri-
Johnny Depp the other day. He
What?
ran across a parking space.
Why
and I
didn't
was
you?
like- And he was like, what?
Probably
And he's
did it-
tiny.
Probably
He's
did it on
like-
purpose. Knowing how.
Tried to run him over and save him. And he's really small, tiny. He seems kind of a little tall and lanky, but he's not.
Yeah, I remember before I got locked up, I was like as tall as my mom. Before I got locked up. Well, just getting as tall as her. And then like when I was in county jail, the visits were like through glass walls, and she'd already be sitting down when I come out there. And then when I'm grown, and then when I come here and get a contact visit, I walked up to her and she was like, and I was looking down and I was like,
What happened?
Damien was telling us early on you were shorter than him, and then by the time the trials and everything come out, you were actually taller than him.
Actually, I used to be taller than my brother Matt too, but now he's taller than me and my mom.
Did you get that from your dad? Was your dad tall?
Yeah, he's like real tall.
I wonder.
My brother, he's like kind of stocky. I'm skinny. My mom, she's skinny. My dad, he's kind of stocky.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your mom should see
You've seen through some of Kathy's letters, I'm sure. Like, she does some pretty amazing things. So, did you see any of the campaign that she did for the HBO thing, for the movie, for Paradise
I
Lost?
don't think I've seen him any.
Were you able to
I didn't
see
know
them?
if it was legit. Like, if I
I
could-
seen I got a picture of you holding a poster and holding a drawing.
Oh, yeah. The poster, I think, was actually one that she didn't do. It was the one of the cherub that's kind of real dark and had an angel, kind of
Yeah.
a monument from a gravestone. The stuff she did was like millions of times better than
Yeah, I
that.
can send them to you if you can.
Yeah, you should see some of the stuff that they
I don't know where
didn't
to
use
get
that she
it.
did. 'cause
Well, I'll try. We'll see what happens.
She's quite a computer whiz.
Well, you are the producer, aren't you? You actually made them.
I made the posters.
So I guess you could send it to her.
Oh,
Because
okay,
they said I
that's
can't
true.
get stuff unless it's from a producer.
Oh, okay, that's true. Hey, it's my poster.
That's right.
I'll send it with the agency, return on it, because, yeah, I mean,
Some
they
of it
can
was
send you
beautiful.
posters.
And Grove, actually, the one that they did end up using for most of it, TV Guide and People Magazine, and even one of the, what they call an advance movie poster, the thing that says coming soon, Grove had done some photography on that. It had a bicycle on it.
That's how we got involved in this whole thing. We actually saw the screening of the movie two months prior to actually on HBO. And since we were working on the project, we kind of got more involved in the movie. And then Burke saw it. We actually, when we first saw it, we thought, there was no end, there's no answer to it at the end, which kind of let us know. And then Burke immediately got a book about the case. And this is these guys are innocent. You guys are innocent. So we actually we were kind of freaked out for a while. We wanted you guys were up here, and you guys weren't. You guys weren't.
Yeah, I
You
was
listen
thinking
to
there.
Metallica. It's like, what? You read Stephen King books. What?
Actually,
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't read
normal
any books
teenager.
till I got locked up. That was just Damien.
Oh, that's fine.
My mom and Damien read books, and Damien would like come over and trade books with my mom. Our lives were so boring, I was sitting around reading books all day.
What did
Yeah,
you
I'd
think
rather be
about
playing Super Nintendo or something?
Yeah,
What did you think
I
about
like
the
Super-
book Blood of Innocence? Obviously, you've read it, right?
Yeah, I've read it.
What did you think? Good, bad?
Well, there's a lot of stuff I didn't like in there.
Like what?
Like a lot of stuff that like people were saying that I never even heard of, and they were saying they knew us and all this. And
It's bizarre, isn't it?
People making claims, do you think just to get their name in the media or associated with you some kind of way?
I wonder if they like made that stuff completely up, put our names over, or stuff like that actually happened with them, but they've done that, but they just put our name in
And they
it.
plugged it in.
Seems like a lot of people just want to get, I mean, they call them sensational murders, like in big cities. You've heard serial killers and things like that. And it's always kind of exciting to people to be involved in something like that, to maybe give them a clue that'll help, and to feel like maybe you're a hero helping the police or something. I think that might have played into it. People wanting to get, maybe their intentions were good. Maybe they were just trying to help, but not realizing that they were going down the wrong road.
Yeah. Yeah, I know like people in here, like there's like a fight or something. Some people see it and they'll be talking about it, and then people don't even see it, but they hear these people talking about it. They'll go up and they'll hear all that, and then they'll be talking like they saw it too.
I think that's a good example.
That's a great metaphor.
Perfect
for it.
example.
Yeah. Do you think that from that, like a little comparison, do you think it's a lot in here is a lot like a small version of the outside world?
Yes, and it's like the bad is more concentrated.
Do you think of the outside world as basically a good place or a bad place?
Both. You got everything out there. Everything's out there.
People are basically good, or do you think most people are pretty bad?
Well, everybody I met until here, I got locked up was basically good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No surprise.
I meet some bad people occasionally, but when they disappear and go to juvenile prison or somewhere, and now here I am with them.
Let me ask you another opinion question. Do you feel like Gitchell and Fogelman, the guy I particularly despise was that Brent Davis guy,
Yeah.
got on my nerves immediately. But do you think that those guys were just doing their job, trying to put a feather in their hat, get you guys sent away, just so that it would get the public off their ass? Or do you feel like they really,
Well,
really believed them?
I figured they had to do a conviction because their jobs were on the line. I figured, like if they hadn't got a conviction, all of West Memphis had been after them.
So you don't necessarily think that they truly believed you were innocent, even though they were,
They might have made themselves believe that we were guilty.
yeah. You think that they were doing that just in their own interest?
Yeah.
It would just, I can't imagine somebody pursuing that with so little evidence and really believe, going home and sleeping at night, thinking, yeah, I did a good thing,
I mean, I got real mad. Baldwin one time, he was like, he was saying like, this man did this, and he like pointed right at me. And he like walked by me, I wanted to trip him. I don't know. they'll just like, say he's guilty, attack me, and all that.
What were you thinking, what was going through your mind when like the first time they told you, here, they gave you a bulletproof vest and said, here, you better put this on? Did you realize that people really wanted to kill you, or really were, you know, mad enough to kill you in that community before then? I mean, did that really, when that happened, is that when it first struck you that, yeah, we're in danger?
I thought we was like, it scared me though, like, dang, all these people like hate us like this. Well, not enough for them. Police cared enough about us to put a bulletproof vest on us. And Damon's like, well, these bulletproof vests ain't gonna help us none, they'll just shoot us in the head.
What did you think when you got hit in the head with a rock? Did you realize they were serious then?
I thought it was police hitting me with this nightstick from behind or something at first. I looked back, looked around, there's rocks landing on the ground like this.
How long after your arrest before you cut your hair? Because I noticed in the mug shots your hair was real long, and in the trial it was shorter than mine.
I don't know. It was like a month or so.
Did you hate getting your hair cut?
Yeah. I felt like I was naked or something there for a while.
Yeah.
It was like I've had long hair since I was a baby. My mom raised me to have long hair. I guess.
You definitely look different, you know, the mug shot as opposed to...
I'm growing it back now.
Yeah.
I started growing it back last December. It
Yeah,
goes
there's
down
some
here
more.
now.
Oh, yeah. Is it more comfortable for you to keep it short if you're working outside?
Well, I got it cut like this now. See, before I just had it long in the back.
Mhm.
Well, now I'm growing it top long and keeping it short in the back short, the back and the side short.
Mm.
That way I can pull it back in ponytail. That way I look short, like work or something.
Right.
Like around the house, around the barracks, I can pull ponytail out and
I notice you're not like really dark tanned or anything. You're not apparently not out in the sun a lot these days.
I've been working in the kitchen for long, and I just got on post squad. But it's practically fall and winter and the sun got out.
One of the corrections
Actually, I'm
officers.
darker than what I was.
Got a little bit of sun.
Were you ever much of an outside person before? Or no?
Yeah, I was always outside.
Really?
Like when I was sitting at home, I'd go out on, I lived on the lake, right? And I'd sit on the dock and fish and stuff. Out there.
Was it you or Matt? Damien was telling us how to train, freight train one
That was
time.
Matt.
That was Matt who did that?
Yeah.
Ended up in...
Ended up in Memphis.
Yeah.
Went all the way across the Mississippi River. It's still going.
You ever do anything like that though when you were younger, when you were his age? I mean, did you
I
ever?
never hopped on the train. Well, I hopped on the one that was stopped, but when they started going, I jumped off. So I didn't really want to get someplace real far and then have to walk back or something.
That's true.
Mm.
I did that once. I had to
Him
call my
and-
dad.
Did the what?
I had to call my dad to come get me in Jacksonville.
They went running away. I think it was just my brother and a couple of his friends were just playing or something. 'Cause he was like 10 or 11 then, brother. You know, they was on this train and it had cars in it. You know, like cars from the factory. They was in there playing on them, turning on the stereo and stuff, because they had the keys in on the road set. And all of a sudden it was going and they couldn't get out. And then they was in Memphis, and when it finally stopped, and then went across the Mississippi River and everything. And they was going through downtown Memphis and like the ghetto. It was like, oh man. But they got like hungry and only had like $1 or something. Went to McDonald's and split one hamburger 3 ways.
Oh man.
And finally, it was cold and stuff. One of them finally got enough nerves to call my mom.
I'd love to look over the train and see these kids in these cars.
I know my mom was running me around all over town to all my his friend's house and stuff, looking for him. Oh, he was supposed to be home at dark. It's 9 o'clock. Where's he at?
Off of the interview record here, if we want to, not if, I mean obviously the things that we're going to put together, and you and I talked about this a little bit on the phone, we put together a newsletter, you know, with all this stuff and interviews and all that kind of thing. I'm assuming you'd like for us maybe to send some of this stuff out, you know, maybe to your family, to your mom, to Matt, and so forth as well. So I know I still have the phone number you gave me, but if you can just sometime in the next week send an address where to me where I can start, you know, sending out things and keeping them up on this. And again, just for your own information, the reason that we kind of held off on, you know, getting stationary letterhead and so forth made with West Memphis 3 as opposed to what we started off with, is because we didn't want to wait and talk to the two of you, so we would have, you know, so we could say legitimately that, you know, there was communication between us and representation, you know, in person.
Yeah.
So if you've got people that you want to put that you want us to put on the mailing list of anything that we pull off the internet or post on the internet or anything else, just drop me a letter, you know, give me the addresses, and everything that we do from here on out, we'll keep them posted. And like I said, we'll also, if we send you stationery, you know, some letterhead stationery that we want to print it up, can you receive that, paper in the mail, or do they?
I don't know.
Writing paper? Or do you have to buy writing
Never
paper?
tried. They sell writing paper. I don't know.
Check on that and see. What's that?
You might have to go through the chat or something like that.
Do chat.
See what they say, and, you know, if we can send it to you, we will. If not, well, we don't, we won't.
I think one of the main things that is sort of important for us is to keep everything real current, you know? Like, you know, and also as close a contact as possible, because people take us a lot more seriously if we've actually met you and you know who we are, and
Yeah.
you agree with what we're doing, and you're with us, and you know, there's nothing about what we're doing that you disagree with or anything like that. So as long as we can keep people current on it, because I think so many times people, like I was telling Damien, I bet a lot of people watch that movie and it gets over and they go, wow, bummer, you know. You hungry? You know, it's like, you know, they move on to something else.
Move on to something
Well, mainly
else.
because it's a story that's 3 years old already.
Yeah.
Although the movie's new, it was 3 years old, and really nobody's heard anything from you guys. Really, I mean, look how hard it was for me to actually start corresponding with you and everything. You guys were pretty much hard to get. I know when I called the Department of Corrections to get your address and Skelly's address, the guy told me over the telephone, he says, you know, here's their address, Varner, et cetera, but you don't expect to hear from them. Their attorneys, from what I understand, have advised them not to, you know, communicate with anybody, you know, and I was like, well, I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. So for that reason, you see what I'm saying? It's hard for us, or anybody, for that matter, to help you if we can't, you know, stay in touch with you. And otherwise, it's just some people from California and Pennsylvania and Louisiana saying that, you know, we represent them, but, you know, if we don't, you know, just click on it.
Nothing, just not even legally, but just, you know, when we're writing things about you and attributing to you, it's nice to know that we actually heard it from you, not just like, well, I think he thinks, you know, and people would take it a lot more seriously.
What we want is for you to be addressing people, and again, we had discussed this with Eccles, and I don't know how big it would go over with Jesse, but we were thinking about as far as these newsletter flyer things and so forth, and as far as, we want you to write what you want to say, but as far as the appearance of the overall publication and all, it's going to be, you know, up to her, and it's going to be slick and nice and appealing and easy to read and all that kind of stuff, so it'll have a lot of integrity, but what we would like to do, if you're not uneasy about it, is just like writing a general open letter to the readers, you know. Even if it's a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, you know, just to kind of say what's going on, just to let everybody know that, you know, you're not dead, and that that you are cooperating, you know, with the fund here, and so on and so forth. Just to kind of, because otherwise, other than a few personal letters that you've written, probably mostly to the girl you were talking about earlier, you know, nobody is ever going to hear anything from you, and you're just going to be here in Varner forever. And so with the internet, the usage of the internet, something that you write, again, even if it's a couple of paragraphs, will literally reach everybody in the world, you know, that it's tapped into the Paradise Lost website or whatever. So it's going to be kind of in your best interest and ours and everybody's to try and get involved in it, you know, especially if anything's going to, you know, come of this.
But Damien's letter to the readers was, in big block letters, leave me the hell alone.
Love, Damien.
Love Damien. We're like, we'll let you think on that.
But, you know, obviously and see, he's like you. He's not really interested in writing a lot of people. He's got a little girlfriend now, and told you about that up in Brooklyn or whatever. And he's sort of, you know, obsessed, I guess, with her. He's kind of dropped out. I don't know, I think a lot of people are saying, even from the trial, where he was flicking his tongue and blowing kisses and all that kind of stuff, just out of spite or whatever, a lot of people are going to say, well, if they don't want to help themselves, you know, why should we give a damn about it? You know? So that's why I was really glad that, you know, to see that you were, you know, willing to talk and all that kind of stuff.
Did you think during the trial, did you think that it was just impossible that you'd be convicted of it?
Yeah, I figured, I was naive then. I figured, you know, that truth would be brought out, you know, that when people get on the stand and take an oath, they have to tell the truth. You know, it's naive then, you know, people get up there and lie. Then really, if they don't know the truth, they can fabricate their own truth, and they can actually believe that.
Do you think people believe the lies that things they were saying that weren't true? Do you think they actually themselves forced themselves to believe it and justify it?
They could have somewhere.
Because the people that were, these people that go to church, put their hand on the Bible and we said, I swear to tell the truth. I guess you have to have some sort of mechanism in your mind that makes you believe that you're not lying.
Yeah. Like that, those girls from Girl Scouts, they just overheard part of that conversation, you know, so they can believe what they said, you know, that he said that he was going to do this, but really he was talking about police talking to him, saying that he did that, or rumors or something.
Since they couldn't show their faces or their names or anything like that in the movie, no one actually saw who the jurors were. You know, you saw like just a brief shot of their legs or whatever.
Really, I couldn't really see him like good. I didn't have glasses back then. You know?
Oh,
I needed
okay.
glasses all my life, but I was like, I ain't wearing no glasses.
Was it like half men, half women? Were they mostly white, half black? Were they old, young? What was the jury like? I mean, do you think
I
that?
remember there was this one old woman, real old woman, and her son had been convicted of something. He was sent to prison somewhere. She was talking about that in the jury selection. There was this black guy. There was only one black person, one black guy. He was in Florida at the time. There was some kind of ROTC Army thing or something while trial stuff happened. And he had just come back and they selected the drug dude. He didn't really know nothing about it.
Do you think that they looked like the type of jury who would have believed all the devil stuff, or do you think that they were objective?